The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up.
Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
We got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that builds Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants aren't getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocados Diablius asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? Oh, that's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Somnambule Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't have to think of it. Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people, and the Biden administration, over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing. Mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapists. A German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say grapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible and converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching, quote, I was a follower of the sword, now I'm a follower of the cross. Amazing. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black Trump supporter would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sic the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond companies. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing to do.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Virginia's George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think the kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is going to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether there's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. everyone that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Well, it's just one of the, as Fred Durst would say, it's just one of those days. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And I just got here, literally. I mean, I had time to make a quick breakfast, come down here. I didn't even look anything up. We're just going to scroll today. We're going to scroll and see what shows up on my feed because there's a bunch of stuff already that I'm looking at. I'm going, holy moly, it's just crazy. So you're going to get the fresh, hot bag of news. And maybe a gold doubloon or two. Somewhere at the end of the rainbow is a pot of gold. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. And in fact, I didn't even look at the trending topics. I don't even care. We're gonna just scroll a dupe. If you got stuff you want me to talk about, you can send that to me in the chat or put a link somewhere, and I'll figure it out. But like I said, there's so much just stuff that's just coming at you like bam, 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 bam. It's like an asteroid belt coming at you. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna scroll. We're gonna scroll and just look at stuff. So good time to drink. Yeah, time to drink green beer. Hey, it's never too early. Never too early. So first, let's say hi and get this thing going. First in the chat today is Somnambule Nation. Yay! You get the bell. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli. Oops, yeah, that's the wrong music. There we go. Avocados Diabli's here. Also, Kara Soldier is here. Select a boy. Yeah, boy. Liberty Vet, what's up? Good morning also to Aaron Meredith. My other favorite Canadian, Unacceptable Views. Attack Alpaca's here. Darren Root, what's up? Tall person, another tall person like me, a tall person. And let's see, who else is here? I see Mike Savage, Blarg. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you, sir. He's in, you get an extra. I was gonna play some Irish music today, but I just I couldn't. I didn't get home soon enough. Also, good morning, Lord Stanhope. What's up? Tyre Alexander the Pope. Yes, Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich, for today's message of hope, not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Today's messages. Blessing of the Holy Ghost. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Remember, St. Patrick was a gentleman. He came from decent people. Timmy! I don't know what the reference to Timmy is. I'm not sure. But did my governor say something stupid again? It'd be very common. Anyway, also, good morning, Lord Stanhope. I see ya. And that's it. I think it's everybody. Time to get your jig on. Yeah, Liberty Vet. Damn right. Time to get your jig on. Except, wait, Mike, plug your ears. Fuck Michael Flatley. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Dawg Knight, it is from the sea shanty, Holloway Joe. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. We must river dance. No, we're not going to river dance today. Hell to the nizzo. Thanks to people sharing the stream, by the way. It includes as I scroll, I got to scroll down to find out where the first one is. There it is. There's the first one. The first one is Somnambule Nation. Thank you for reposting the stream. Or posting the stream on your own. I appreciate that. And a little now that's interesting. Let's go with that's a dragon on St. Patrick's Day. I didn't know that. Or is that a snake with wings and St. Patrick's driving it out of the hinterlands of Ireland? Also, thank you, Resolute German Somnambule Nation, for reposting my stream. And then, is that Captain Jack Sparrow? Could it be? Or it's just a pirate, a general pirate? Thank you, Resolute Germ, for posting that. Tall person posting the stream on your zone again. Mike Savage with the daily let us go. Oh, a Shamrock Dragon. Okay, a Shamrock Dragon, I guess. Hey, here's some green from Simon Wilkins. What? Haven't shown these ones already. Either way, they're part of the Humber River Recreational Trail near Western Road and Shepherd Avenue. I'm not sure where that is, but there's a nice little wooden bench with some wooden slats. There's a greenery. See, it's green for St. Patrick's Day. Look at that. And and a drainage drain thingy, whatever. It's Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday. Good morning, Renee Mayette. How you doing? And then nice little looking down the river there. So there you go. Thank you, Simon Wilkins, for sharing that. And that's it. That's everybody so far. If you want to share the stream, click that link at the top of the chat and reply with a let's go with a GIF or meme. I would greatly appreciate that. And there you go. Bushmills and Jameson aren't bad, but I will take rum over either. Mike Savage. Oh, well, no. Look, some of those more what's the word? Expensive labels of Jameson get pretty smooth and good. Jameson is good whiskey. I appreciate Irish whiskey. I appreciate Scotch whiskey. I appreciate bourbon. I appreciate tequila, Jägermeister, Rumpelmans, anything but blackberry brandy. And never. Well, I'll drink blackberry brandy, but I will never again ever in my entire life drink Southern Comfort because that just shit kills you. Good morning, Sheograph. Nice to have you. And our friend from down under, Rockhopper. Everyone, happy St. Patty's Day. Thank you for being here. Let's get the show on the road. Let's see what else we have to celebrate. Now, obviously, we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day today. A religious observance on March 17th, honoring St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, commemorating his death and his role in bringing Christianity to Ireland. See, you thought it was just driving the snakes out. No, he brought Christianity to Ireland. And, I bet a lot of you Americans didn't even know it was a religious holiday because you're usually too drunk to even know that. So just is. Also, just in honor of St. Patrick's Day, it's National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day. Now, I got a corned beef that I'm putting in the old pot today, but we're not doing any cabbage. I'm just going to cook it up and probably make some Reubens tonight. So I got my sauerkraut, I got my Thousand Island dressing, I got some, a lot of people like to use Swiss cheese. I like to use provolone cheese for some reason, although Swiss is the proper Reuben cheese. But I got some thick Texas toast style bread. I'm going to grill it after I pile it all together. It's going to be delicious. I love me some Reuben sandwiches. Sauerkraut is cabbage. Well, yes, I know it's true. That's true. Sauerkraut is cabbage, but we're doing it just a little different. But also, I don't like sauerkraut that's super sour, so I always cook the sauerkraut first, so it kind of gets that meaty flavor to it. So anyway, someone says I never need an excuse to drink. Well, there, good, good, because look, if you live in the United States today, I'd suggest very strongly to stay home because St. Patrick's Day is one of those amateur night drinking days where people they just think, oh, that's all we do on St. Patrick's Day is drink. It's like St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, New Year's Eve. I don't go out on any of those nights. It's amateur night. Those professional drinkers go out 2 days later. So there you go. All right. Also, it's Red Nose Day. I have no idea why, but there's plenty of clowns in the world. So, Campfire Girls Day. Do y'all remember Campfire Girls? There used to be Girl Scouts and used to be Campfire Girls. I didn't understand why there were two organizations, but there is. So happy Campfire Day, girls. Or Girls Day. World Social Work Day. That's self-explanatory. Evacuation Day. What? Maybe. Oh, I see. Heritage observance on March 17th commemorating the evacuation of British forces from Boston in 1776, marking the Continental Army's first major victory. Oh, in the Revolutionary War. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Damn Brits. Also, I don't know what Ramon Magsaysay, that must be, Philippine president. It's commemorating a former Philippine president's on the anniversary of his death. Shakir Mujahar Rahman Day. That's something in, where is that? Bangladesh. Doctor Patient Trust Day. You gotta need one of those every day. And also Saint Gertrude of Niveles Day. Wherever that is, founder of Niveles Abbey. So there you go. That's the holidays day. Everybody celebrate, dance to the music. All right, so like I said, I just got home, and so I just thought today we would peruse X and just see what we find. Or if you got something you want to send me, you can yell at me in the chat and drop a link. I don't, whatever. But there's every time I open up X, sometimes I don't even have to look. It's just like the first 7 things are things I can put on the board. But I do have one article I pulled out of the aggregator today. And because everyone who's a Democrat is very against this SAVE Act, right? The fact that you have to register to vote, you got to be able to prove you're a U.S. citizen, right? And look, I understand the trepidation some have with it because, if you're trying to do it before this coming midterm elections, I don't know that that's realistic because you got to give people time to find all the shit they need to do that. Some people have to get copies of birth certificates, marriage certificates and shit, and they might have to pay for it. Some state legislatures are going to have to pass legislation to find ways to do it so people can get it for free. And I understand the trepidation, but it's, we're one of the very few countries where you don't have to prove who you are to vote in an election. It's at least in the Western world, particularly 46 of the 47 countries in Europe require you to show an ID to vote, or have some kind of ID to become a voter. And for some reason, there's a certain faction in the United States that doesn't want that to happen. And part of it may have to do with this article that's in the New York Post today. Illegal immigrants from Africa, India, and China are voting in U.S. elections. Here's how they're doing it. Now, I know how they're doing it in Minnesota because a few years ago, we passed this motor voter bill, right? Or not a few years ago, several years ago. Because I haven't had to register to vote for probably 10 years, but I always get my little voter card saying, hey, here's where your polling place is, because you're automatically registered to vote when you get a driver's license or a state ID. And, they've made it easy for people to get IDs. But then 3 years ago, our state legislature made it so anyone can get a driver's license, including illegal immigrants. Now, and it's not just illegal immigrants. By the way, with this motor voter thing that we do in Minnesota, the only thing you have to do to be registered to vote is when you're applying for your license, a little checkbox down there that says you're going to be registered to vote, but you need to check here if you're going to opt out. Now, I don't know if they changed to opt in because mine's been renewed just every time I get a new license. But I'm sure that many people do not do the proper diligence when it comes to that, and then they get to vote in this country. And I'm sure there's plenty of illegal aliens who vote in our elections. I'm pretty confident of it, right? Patio Furniture, what's up? I see you. So anyway, here's how they do it in this article, and I'm just going to go through it. Now, a Mauritanian? That's I didn't know that from Mauritius, whatever that country is. I didn't know that they're called Mauritanians. Anyway, a Mauritanian illegal immigrant marked for deportation since 2002 has continued to live in the U.S. and is a registered Democrat who has voted in every election since 2008, according to authorities. Mahade Sako, 50, who goes by the name Sako Scorpion, why, was buzzed last week was busted. Bustled. It's like he's wearing a bus. He was busted last week in Philadelphia for allegedly falsely claiming citizenship to cast a 2024 ballot. He was picked up in a joint operation between Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, and the FBI, which charged he falsely represented that he was a U.S. citizen in order to vote and register to vote in the last presidential election, according to a press release. Sacco denied the charges when called by the Post, claiming everything is a lie. They are lying about me, before hanging up. He has yet to enter a plea in his case. Now, as the issue of election security ramps up with Congress with the SAVE Act, Sacco's arrest was one of a nearly dozen uncovered by the Post of non-citizens allegedly voting in U.S. elections. Now, by the way, I've seen all these videos too, by the way, where people go undercover and they go to register to vote, and they pretend they don't have any idea, and that people just register to vote anyway, right? So now let's see. Sacco's arrest. One is one of nearly a dozen uncovered by the Post of non-citizens allegedly voting in U.S. elections, sometimes for decades, with many remaining listed as active voters on state rolls, even after their convictions. The reality is aliens are voting in American elections. J. Christian Adams, president of the Public Interest Legal Foundation, who has spent decades working on election integrity, told the Post, noting no one is quite sure how widespread the problem is. I'm guessing it is. Fuck Sacco shit. That's funny. There are about 14 million people who are in the country legally, but who are not citizens in 2023, according to Pew Research. 14 million people. While they may have work permits and visas, they can't vote. It's way worse than the left says, but it's way better than some others say, he added. Pennsylvania, crucial swing state, stands out for disastrous alien voter registration, says Adams. The Keystone State has admitted a glitch. It's just a glitch in its motor voter program, which registers voters at the DMV inadvertently has allowed approximately 100,000 non-citizens to register to vote, though some state officials dispute this number. Right. I bet I would not be shocked if we had 100,000 people in Minnesota that has done that too. Pennsylvania, a crucial swing state, but we're not a swing state. Well, we maybe might be if you got rid of those 100,000 illegal voters. Anyway, Pennsylvania, a crucial swing state, stands out for disastrous alien voter registration, says Adams. The Keystone State has admitted... Oh, I already said that. Let's see. Another Pennsylvania voter, Indian citizen, aka Indian as in call center, not casino, Kashakumar Patel, 47, of Valentine, will stand trial this month for allegedly voting illegally in the 2020 election. Voting records obtained by the Post show a man of the same name and age as Bouchard voted in every election since 2004 and was not registered with a political party. Now, why did they go from Bouchard to him? Is that that's the first guy? No, that's a different guy. Anyway, Patel's lawyer, Philip Steinberg, previously said, I skipped something? I must have skipped. Oh, I see what I did. I skipped there. Anyway, Patel's lawyer, Steinberg, previously said he's waiting for more information from the government, laying out its case against Patel, saying in a statement, Mr. Patel has lived a law-abiding life in the United States for over 20 years. He works, pays his taxes, and is an active participant in his community. He is also the proud father of 2 young daughters. Well, that doesn't tell me anything about whether or not he's been voting illegally. On March 6th, Canadian Dennis Bouchard, that's who we were looking for, 70, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of making false claims. He was a U.S. citizen to vote in 2022 and the 2024 elections in North Carolina and faces 10 years in prison. An investigation by the Post revealed a man of the same name as age has voted in every election, because that's where we were at. since 2004 and was not registered with a political party. That man was removed from voter rolls in the state after Bouchard's conviction. One shocking case, Chinese national Huxiang Gao, 19, who was a student at the University of Michigan, was charged on June 3rd last year with illegally voting in the 2024 election, but fled to China before he could face justice.
China is asshole.
This at arraignment, Gao surrendered his Chinese passport to the judge, but then boarded a flight from Detroit to Shanghai using another passport with a different serial number, according to the FBI. Gao remains wanted in the U.S., which does not have an extradition treaty with China. The Post found Gao is still registered as an active voter in Michigan. An October 2025 sweep of Arkansas picked up Cecilia Castellanos, 59, a Cuban national and registered Democrat who has a pending order of removal by immigration enforcement dating back to 1999. Now I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Doot, doot. Castellanos also had three prior felony convictions in New York for grand larceny and attempted forgery, according to the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. So why is she still in the country? She pleaded guilty to perjury and voter fraud on January 13th. In October, Arkansas also nabbed Zlata Rizli of Kazakhstan, who registered as a Republican, and Nigerian citizen Chi Baum, 59, with no party affiliation. Both were lawful U.S. residents, but not citizens, who illegally voted in the 2024 election, officials said. Risley pleaded guilty and received probation. Details of Baum's case were not immediately available. In Florida, two Ukrainian women, mother Svetlana Dimidenko, 53, and daughter Yislaveta Dimidenko, 22, both registered Democrats, cast ballots in the 2024 general election after coming to the U.S. in 2021 on non-immigrant visas, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida. They were both arrested last April. They have pleaded not guilty, and their case is set for a trial later in 2026. So look, either these people are voting because somehow they got registered to vote. Either they're voting or someone else voted on their behalf. I'm sure, that. Oh, wait, that never happens. Mail-in voting is the most secure and safe way to vote ever. Adams said the main problem is aliens being invited to register to vote, usually through the mail at the DMV or third-party groups. At times, it's an organic process of aliens getting sucked in unwittingly. Maybe they've been whipping down Modelo's. So they were drunk at a festival, and they're doing some guy a favor who is in their face with a clipboard, or they're at the DMV and get these pop-up windows asking them to register. They think, I must be allowed. He added, I wish it were a conspiracy plot because it would be easier to bust. This is systemic failure. So the Post found illegal voters span the political spectrum in upstate New York. Iraqi national Akeem Abdul Jamil, 45, had registered with the Conservative Party, had written pro-Trump screeds, and in 2019 tried to sue then New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio over the negative impact of illegal immigration on his livelihood, claiming the U.S. was under invasion. So it's equal opportunity, but I'm sure that a lot more Democrats, a lot more registered as Democrats, I would guess. Jamil was charged last April with illegally voting in the 2020 election. He has yet to enter a plea and could face a year in prison and up to $100,000 fine if convicted. So they're just a bunch of these. And then they scroll down here. The Republican-backed Save America Act would mandate proof of U.S. citizenship, such as a passport, birth certificate, or enhanced driver's license to register to vote in federal elections, but it's currently languishing in the Senate, lacking the 60 votes required to overcome a Democrat filibuster. Representative Chip Roy of Texas, who introduced the SAVE Act to the House, where it passed, said he agrees with Trump that passing this bill should be Republicans' top priority. Americans want voter ID and the guarantee that only citizens are voting in our elections. The House has done its job. Now it's time for the Senate to show up, he told the Post. So, and look, the senators are poo-pooing it, especially some of the Republicans are even shitheaded over this. But is it okay? Let me ask you something, chat. Maybe I should do a poll. Here, let's do a little poll here. Are you surprised that illegal aliens are voting in U.S. elections? And I'm going to give you two choices. Duh. Okay. There's the poll. I know most of you are not surprised at all, so I just give you two answers that were silly. I would be surprised if they were not. Yeah, I'd be surprised too. All right, let's do some scrolling here because something that I caught just as we started. We're just gonna go down. I'm gonna go through. Actually, if you just scroll down my feed, there's all kinds of stuff to talk about. So, let's see. Double Dust should have been a choice. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have had that. Can you amend a poll? I don't know if you can. Nope, you could only end it. Oh well. There we go. All right. So let's start with this article. I'll put all of these out as separate choices too. Like let's see. See if you want to find this later. So this is fascinating. The New York Times reported about how a male serial murderer of women was allowed into a women's shelter in New York City despite the terror of the women forced to be confined with him. He went on to behead and dismember yet another woman weeks later. Now he's back in a women's prison. The people working relentlessly to inflict male murderers and rapists onto women locked in prison and shelters are zealots who think that they are the best people in the world at the vanguard of humanity as they inflict danger and humiliation on vulnerable women. They are carrying out the will of center-left political parties across the Western world. There has never been a cult this deranged with this much power in the post-Enlightenment world. So here is here's the someone talking about this. I don't know if they're testifying before a legislature or what, but here it is.
In January of 2018, the ladies were settling in for the night, and I received a call to come downstairs to handle a situation. A 6'1" man dressed in a pink nightgown with a pink suitcase was standing at the door. He was extremely inebriated, very belligerent, and had a gash down his face.
Before she continues, if you were running a women's shelter and a 6'1" man with wearing a pink, what did she say, a pink nightgown and a pink suitcase, showed up at the door and you looked out the door, what would your first words be? I know what mine would be. Oh, hell no! GTFO! Immediately! Holy shit. All right, we'll end the poll here because it was silly anyway. Anyway, let's see where she goes with this.
And it was bleeding. He had been delivered there by the police because he wanted
Oh my God! The police brought him. I'm just trying to process.
stay in a woman's shelter. The police brought him to the door and just left him. It was obvious to me that he needed medical attention, so I called him a taxi and paid for him to go to the hospital to get stitches. He thanked me, called me Mother Teresa, and went on his way. After he left, the women in the shelter were visibly shaken. Many knew him from the streets. He was a violent man. Several told me that if I had allowed him to stay in the shelter, they would have left that night and gone and slept in the woods, and this is in the middle of January in Alaska.
This is
because they
Alaska.
felt unsafe if he would have stayed there. They had actually surrounded the walls of the shelter, getting away from him when he was in there, and understandably so. Asking a survivor of sex trafficking or sexual assault to sleep 3 feet away of a man would destroy the very safety they came to find.
This is a different one.
Within a week, I received a letter from the city of Anchorage.
This is the Anchorage. This one's in Anchorage, Alaska. The other example was from New York. This is a different one.
Gentleman filed a complaint with the Anchorage Equal Rights Commission against the Downtown Hope Center, alleging discrimination based on gender identity. The city opened up an investigation and attempted to force us to allow men.
I'd have been like, who's the chef, Ramsay or whatever his name is? I'd be like, oh, fuck off.
Into our women's shelter, even though the city's own ordinance contained an exemption for homeless shelters. But the pressure to let men sleep next to women didn't stop. So to protect the privacy and the dignity of the women in our care, we had to file a federal lawsuit. Our mission has always been clear. We serve everybody, we feed everybody, we clothe everybody. To this day, the man who filed the complaint still comes to our soup kitchen for lunch. But at night, our shelter is for women only. Thankfully, with the help of the Alliance Defending Freedom, the court ruled in our favor. But that wasn't the end of the story. Instead of accepting the court's decision, the city of Anchorage changed its non-discrimination ordinance and tried again to make us allow men into our women's shelter. This forced us into a second lawsuit. Thankfully, the courts again protected our freedom to exist consistent with our belief that God created men and women distinct in design.
You shouldn't even have to go that far. Look, if we're a private shelter on private donations, which it sounds like this might be, they should be able to reject whoever the hell fuck they want to. And now maybe they're getting state funds or federal funds, and that puts a wrench in it. But thank God the courts found them in favor of them.
Our freedom to serve women should never have required years of litigation. Freedom is a God-given right, not a privilege granted by whoever holds power.
So it's another case. The first case was about the New York Times one. This is a different one. But yeah, the fact that they put the other one and the other story into a women's prison after he dismembered people. Holy shit. Unbelievable. Hello, Man Squatch. What's up? So, all right, going to keep scrolling. Now, I guess Maria Mondani put out a St. Patrick's Day message, or excuse me, at a St. Patrick's Day pre-press conference at Gracie Mansion, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani turned what should have been a celebration into a full-blown activist rally. Yay! Instead of talking about the holiday, he went off on climate change and even pushed claims about a genocide in Gaza, which there's no genocide in Gaza. There's plenty of Gazans still alive. New Yorkers are left wondering, what does any of this have to do with St. Patrick's Day? So this is part of his St. Patrick's Day address, I guess.
I say this as over the past few years, as we've witnessed a genocide unfold before our eyes, there has been deafening silence from so many.
Genocide before. So the Palestinian Health Ministry says that there were about 70,000 deaths in that war, right, between Israel and Gaza, and there's 7 million Palestinians. I don't think. And look, the Palestinians, they always talk about people colonizing. they're always bad about colonizers. Who's the actual colonizers in that case, though, if you think about it? I mean, look, all of the Palestinians have Arabic origins, right? Yasser Arafat was an Arab who lived in Egypt before he became leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization. The people who are there that are Arab migrated there in the late 1870s. Okay, before that, it's been a whole mishmash of people who are there, but mostly Jews. That's the Jewish homeland since 1500 BC that they have recording of when King David ran the kingdom of Israel and Jerusalem was its capital. That's how long the Jews have been there. 2,000 years before Muhammad was even born. Okay, so it's kind of weird that they keep saying, "Oh, the Palestinians, they're saying that the Israelis are colonizers," which is just the opposite. So anyway,
For those who have long cared about universal human rights and the extension of them to Palestinians, silence, however,
how does this have to do with St. Patrick's Day?
I say
that's just part of his St. Patrick's Day speech. So that's interesting. Now I want to find the rest of it. I'll just post that over here. I'm just going to post all these along the way here so that you can find them if you want to find them later. All right, let's scroll some more. Let's see what else is on here. Oh, by the way, Ali Lajani, head of the Islamic Regime Security Forces, and Gholamreza Soleimani, the head of the Basij, have both been eliminated. Together, these men carried out the murder of tens of thousands of protesters during the Free Iran demonstrations in January. The blood on their hands is immeasurable, so that's interesting. And now, as you go down here, people are still telling themselves that the IRGC is winning. Let me give you a little glimpse of what they're calling winning. These are all the people of the leadership of Iran who are no longer with us, which I'm not going to go through the name of the list, but he's got about 30 names here. And Israel has no intention of stopping. If they were so indoctrinated with their Islamic ideology, they would be admitting defeat, but that will never happen. So Israel and the U.S. will just have to keep winning. This is an incredible list, truly spectacular. And that's not even mentioning all the Hezbollah leaders, Hamas leaders, and Islamic Jihad leaders that Israel took out. There wouldn't be enough space for all of them on one graphic. By the way, the list above is accurate. I asked AI to make a collage, so there may be a few mistakes there, but everyone on the list above is now resting in... Wow, okay, this is a little bit of snark. Resting in pieces. Okay. Again, I'm going to put all these in separate links, so for your post-show viewing pleasure, if you want to find them again. Joy Reid is in my feed. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to hear what she's. Let's see what Joy Reid says. Apparently she believes that women in Iran are better off than women in America. To which Clay Travis says, well, she should move to Iran then. I'm sure she would just thrive there. You'd never have to see her head again. For ever-changing, blonde wigs and shit. Here's Joy Reid talking about. Well, let's see what she says exactly. Let's see her exact words.
Our regime has secret police. They have secret police. Our regime is oppressing women, taking away.
Our regime has secret police.
Our regime has secret police. They have secret police. Our regime is oppressing women, taking away abortion rights, taking away women's rights in like 26 states, some states where they're trying to have the death penalty for having an abortion.
Wait a minute. Yeah, who told her about the secret police? I'm curious. Wait a minute. Is there a state that is threatening to have the death penalty for having an abortion? I haven't heard that. Anyone want to look that one up?
They also oppress women.
in Iran, if you show your hair in public, you get beaten in the street in front of everybody. It's not even you said secret police. It's not a secret. They just beat your ass right in the street. They are threatening to, what do you call it? Death penalty for the soccer team that's coming back from Australia for not singing the national anthem. That's a little different. They're going to execute them. They've executed people for protesting. What are you talking about, woman?
They have the highest rate of women who are in STEM careers. We're kicking women out of the military, out of university.
What?
We're saying that DEI means women can't be hired for high.
No. Oh my God.
High positions in the sciences. So we're marginally better.
She's
and we're
a
doing it for
moron.
Christianity, they're doing it for Islam, right?
Yeah.
So it's
She's
like
a
we don't get told
moron.
those things because it would take away the kind of American exceptionalism narrative.
She doesn't understand what American exceptionalism is either. So, millionaire Marxist Joy Reid thinks women systemically getting raped by the IRGC is better than being in America. She thinks women getting beaten up for being women by Ayatollahs is better than living under Trump. She thinks Iranian women being told what to wear and how to behave are lucky because at least they're not in America, but she still chooses to live in free America than under the Islamic occupation of Iran. Speaking of which, speaking of colonizers and occupations, you know, Iran is also a colonized territory. You know, they always complain about colonizers. Well, you know, those Muslims that have taken over Iran that changed their flag to a little Arabic symbol and has Arabic writing on it, even though they don't speak Arabic in Iran. You know, they're Persians. They speak Farsi, and the mullahs they are just you know, they literally colonized Iran. But you hate colonizers except for Iran. You hate dictators except for Iran. You hate oppressive governments except for Iran. Because all you people out there protesting on behalf of Khomeini, oh, I know what it is. Never mind. I just figured it out. See, the left people, you know, those people, they think that the Iranians are brown. And so you cannot criticize brown people no matter what they do. Is that what it is? Except for the like 70 to 80 million Iranians who don't want those fuckers in charge anymore. But no, we don't want to talk about the oppressed people of Iran because brown people can't oppress other brown people, according to the left. Oh my God, I hate these people. All right, what else can we find along here? Nick Shirley's out there again and again. Nick Shirley approached people walking out of a dilapidated California hospice center. It's the same location that received millions of tax dollars. All of them reportedly members of the same family jumped in expensive cars and ran away. Oh, yeah, you know, California is actually finding and fining and prosecuting some of the hospice fraud there too. That's where they're finding it. And also federal prosecutors are there. But let's see what Nick has to say here. I haven't seen this one. All right, here we go.
So what do you think about...
And by the way, it's funny because, look, I'll be the first to admit, Nick Shirley's not the brightest bulb in the tree. But if Nick Shirley can find all this shit, why can't LA prosecutors find it? Well, we just have to wait for the federal government to find it. But anyway, Nick Shirley.
Hospice fraud. Sir, you're in the Cybertruck, driving away, taking money from old people. Yet he's just driving away.
I really don't like those
in his
Cybertrucks.
Won't even answer any questions. Let's see, we have another rich person as well that's getting rich off this hospice. This guy's leaving as well. So the two people that walked out of Holy Angels, they're in a
This is a hospice center, huh?
A new BMW. How lucrative of a business is hospice? I'm seeing a Cybertruck here in a nice BMW. It's good. Yeah, because it looks like, for instance, Guardian of Angels, that used to be here, $4.8 million they built the state of California. And how many clients do you guys have?
Brother, do you have a badge? Do I need to answer your question?
I'm just curious.
It's not mine. I just work.
Yeah. You must be getting paid pretty well, right?
Bro, my parents, bro.
Do your parents run the hospice?
They don't work.
No. Who's that guy in the Cybertruck? He's your uncle. So it's like a family business to own the
It's a
hospice.
family business. Hello, Kyle. What's
Why
up?
is he walking out of the hospice then too?
Brother, can you leave me alone?
Like these hospices, there's nothing inside of them.
If it's not you guys, how come you're in the newest BMW and the newest Cybertruck? I can only imagine what the guy who's in charge is driving.
Just all the other hospices? Do you like taking care of old people? Like, are you the one going out visiting the hospice
Oh, he's going to back into that truck. He got a little close
He's
there.
gonna have to do another point turn.
Yeah, you guys are in my fucking way. Move.
Well, you could just go that way. What's the key to opening up a hospice if I wanted to open up one? Because you're in the family business of hospices. If I want to open my own, what do you do for?
So anyway, you get the idea. I'll put it as a separate link because I don't want to watch this whole thing. All right, what else is on here? This is kind of fun. I should do this more often. Just scrolling, right? What happened there? Okay. Bomber loophole. Okay, let's see. This is Representative Tom Tiffany. An Obama-era loophole, later expanded under Biden, allows Chinese nationals to travel visa-free to Northern Mariana Islands, a U.S. territory. Pregnant women have exploited this policy to give birth on U.S. soil and secure American citizenship for their children. As these children grow up, many are raised in communist China with limited ties to the U.S., yet could still be eligible to vote in American elections and even hold sensitive positions in the U.S. government. The problem has become so widespread that in recent years, more babies have been born in the Northern Mariana Islands to Chinese mothers than to legal U.S. residents. During a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee hearing last week, Peter Schweizer revealed that more than 1,000 birth tourism companies operating in China are specifically targeting the U.S. and that approximately 1 million U.S. citizens are being raised in communist China. I wonder if they sent the voter registrations to China. China, huh?
China is asshole.
That's why I introduced the One Nation, One Visa Policy Act with Rick Scott and Representative Chip Roy to close this loophole. It's time to end birth tourism abuse once and for all. Holy shit. I don't know what to say about that one. I have relatives immigrating here who's my nephews that were born in the U.S. But to legal, who came here through legal visas and are permanent residents here. So that's a tough one, man. Now then we saw this one yesterday. This dummy, more than 50,000 Iranian people, including children and pregnant women, were murdered last month, but there's no mention of it. 2 Iranian nurses were raped and tortured by Islamic forces for days, to the point that doctors had to remove part of their intestines, leaving one with a permanent colostomy bag just because they were treating wounded people. Yet there's no mention of that. Iranian soccer team players received public safety threats from Islamic regime media. Some sought asylum, while others were forced to return because their families were also threatened. And there's no mention of that either. But we saw this moron yesterday.
It's an Artists for Ceasefire pin, and what we are demanding is a ceasefire in Gaza.
That's been under ceasefire for 6 months.
And I think that I am so blessed to have a platform, and this is the least I can do to use it. And sometimes the news cycle is so fast and people move on, but the people in Gaza and the West Bank are still suffering.
Yeah, she's demanding.
So, yeah, just bringing attention to that.
Okay, well, you're a moron. We have a link to that from yesterday. Oh, liberals are blaming Trump for the redesigned dime to mark the nation's 250th anniversary, when the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee, which advises the Treasury Secretary, voted to approve the new design in October 2024. That's right, the designs were voted on and officially recommended in October of that year, before Trump won re-election. The 2026 Emerging Liberty Dime is a 1-year-only U.S. coin designed for the semi-quincentennial And the left is upset that the reverse of the coin depicts a bald eagle clutching only arrows in its left talon, while the right one is empty. The coin bears dual dates, 1776 to 2026, and will temporarily replace the Roosevelt dime. The omission of the olive branch is a direct nod to the American Revolution, where colonists were still waiting for peace, according to the design creator, Eric David Custer. The eagle with arrows is historically significant, intended to represent the fight for independence and emphasizing strength, authority, and military resolve. So I guess lefties are pissed about the dime. Trump is this is Fast Company. Trump is turning coins into miniature symbols of his priorities. Yeah, these were approved before Trump became president again. The Washington Post, new dime to celebrate America's birthday, takes on a new meaning under Trump. The design commemorating the nation's 250th anniversary was recommended to the Treasury Secretary in 2024. Critics have criticized its lack of olive branches. That was, again, in their own article. It's from 2024. Mother Jones, first Trump scrapped DEI coins. Now the new dime is losing the olive branch under Joe Biden. And here's another one from People magazine. Trump administration drops the olive branch from U.S. seal on new dime coins, keeps the arrows. Okay, this has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Oh God, people are stupid. People are these are journalistic ventures in theory, and they couldn't even do a little research. All right, I'm going to go to the other side here. Hang on a second. Oh. By the way, this is in New York City. If someone comes from Gene Robson, if someone comes to the United States and openly says on camera, "I want to kill as many Zionists as I can," that is not protected activism. That's public declaration of violence. This is this douchebag. This was at a protest in New York City. Here, let's pull this out here. Just a second here.
Omar, are you going to go kill Jews?
I'm not going to kill Zionists.
You're going to kill Zionists? How many Zionists do you want to kill?
As many as I can.
You want to kill as many Zionists as you can?
Yeah, Zionists. I'm a Zionist.
That's interesting. How old are you that you want to kill Zionists?
Huh?
So you want to kill me?
You're a Zionist?
I am a Zionist. So you want to kill me?
Let's go to Palestine and we'll celebrate.
You want to kill me right here?
Left to Palestine.
So you want to kill me because I'm a Zionist? Do you want to? What is a Zionist? Give me the definition of a Zionist.
This is a stupid kid cosplaying.
Well, you're the definition of Zionism.
So what's the definition of Zionism? You want to kill us? Just tell me what's the definition. Why do you want to kill Zionists?
Because all they care about is killing all the Arabs. All the Arabs.
Arabs?
Yeah.
I'm Arab. I'm from Yemen and Egyptian. How they want to kill all the Arabs?
Yemeni and Egyptian?
Yes, I'm Yemeni and Egyptian. Habibi. Most of the Jews, most of the Israelis are Middle Eastern. You know that, right?
And you're Jewish?
Yes, I'm Jewish. You know, that's a hard,
He was living in Egypt.
But you, Habibi, want to kill.
I know that Jews live in Yemen.
You want to kill Jews. You want to kill Jews.
No, I want to kill Zionists, bro.
You want to kill Zionists.
What are you doing? All the Zionists are gone, and who's next? No one.
No one's next?
How are you going to do it? What's the plan?
So, Omar. We know your name is Omar. So you can take your thing off if you want.
You don't know what my face looks like, so...
We know what your face looks like. I told you. We just need your eyes, and we get your thing. What you just did now on video was one of the dumbest things you ever did, because I'm going to post it. It's going to go viral. You're going to get ID'd, and then you're going to get arrested for what you just did, because that's an act of terrorism, what you just said, that you want to go kill all the senators.
You know what active terrorism is?
Yes.
You know what active terrorism is? What Israel's doing? Bombing, killing everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's in Palestine.
Everybody in Palestine is getting killed by Israel.
Yes.
Not the Hamas. Yes. Not the people with your bandana. No. But you're going to kill all us. Very good.
All right. So he's clearly a moron. There's just some people who are just dumb that will say some stupid shit on camera. So the crazy thing, I guess, here is Gene Robinson says, if someone comes into the United States and openly says on camera, "I want to kill as many Zionists as I can," It's not a protected activism. It's a public declaration of violence. If a person in America is calling for the killing of Americans, law enforcement should investigate immediately. And if that person is not a U.S. citizen, there is already a legal pathway for removal. Under U.S. immigration law, support for or advocacy tied to a designated terrorist organization like Hamas can make a person removable from the United States. If someone obtains citizenship through fraud while hiding extremist ties, the government can also pursue denaturalization through federal court. Yes, we can. America is a nation of laws. You don't come here and threaten to kill our people. If you advocate for violence, the law should deal with it. Very good point, Mr. Robinson. So there you go. That's just a crazy mentality that for someone to have. All right, now I had opened one earlier, and I'm going to go here because there's a couple of good ones in here. Apparently, a Sky News editor, and representing a representatives of Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer's government, attended a party at Iran's regime embassy in London, celebrating the anniversary of the Islamic Republic. On the same day, the regime's security forces stormed a hospital and gang raped nurses for helping wounded protesters. Millions of families were heartbroken, so I raised it directly on Sky News. This is someone named Mashi Alinejad. They didn't share the interview on their social media, so I asked them to send me a clip. Forgive the giant logo on my face. That's how they sent it, but I thought the conversation matters. You can also hear the reaction of the editor of the Sky News about why he joined the party to celebrate the the people that massacred thousands of unarmed people. So here's a clip from that interview with Masi Alinejad.
We see people are telling me to send this message to you. We see at the same time, my people are facing massacre, facing, like the regime storming to hospital, going door by door, arresting doctors. At the same time, why the security forces were raping nurses for the crime of helping the wounded one. We see that, Prime Minister Starmer's Foreign Ministry office, they attended a party at the embassy of the Iranian regimes in London to celebrate the anniversary of the Revolutionary Guards. I think the editor-in-chief of the Sky News, your platform, were attending at that party as well at the same time when my people were facing rape and massacre. So when the international community put everything on the shoulder of the United States of America, nothing gonna happen. This is the Berlin Wall moment for my country, and we want to see the Europe take actions as well, support the people of Iran, help them to access the internet.
I don't know which event or party you're referring to, but I can speak for...
I've seen actually other people have posted clips about that party because they were pointing out people from a couple different news organizations that were at that party. There was a CNN journalist there. There was representative of Starmer's government. There was the Sky News reporter that were at this party. Now, it very well could be that they were there reporting on it. And I'm pretty sure they probably didn't ask any pointed questions because they might get, let's just say they might get pointed out, so to speak.
It was February 12th. I know it very well. It's fact.
Either way,
I
can speak for certainty that Sky News does not take any sides.
I want to just explain that there was an event, 12 February, the anniversary of the Islamic Revolution.
Well,
and
again,
the pictures are there that journalists and officials, including from your platform, shaking hands, and they actually responded. Your journalists responded saying that this was a normal event. The Islamic Republic is not a normal regime. They are like ISIS, and that was not a normal event. That broke the heart of millions of Iranians.
I can
Special Cat Acid, Sideshow Bob's little sister. Yeah, whatever. She's an active. I've seen her in some on Instagram and also on TikTok talking about what's going on in Iran. And finally, this, and I don't know if this is a palate cleanser, but this is just kind of, well, let's just say it's kind of disgusting if you ask me. So we've been laughing about how the media has been treating the deaths of some of these Iranian officials. And apparently the BBC has given a eulogy for Ali Larijani, one of the absolute, one of these people who were involved in the massacre of protesters in Iran. And here's how the BBC described this man.
National Crisis Group. The slight problem here is that if Israel continues to take out the Iranian leadership, particularly the ones who have been in the past considered moderates, that
moderates,
hardline, less experienced people
moderates
will take their place, and it will become harder to actually
they consider him a moderate, moderate,
rather than easier for the Israelis.
I didn't say it was a eulogy.
It would make it more complicated inside Iran rather than pave the way for a smooth regime change.
Yeah, Larijani was seen as a pragmatic figure. He said some very tough things,
pragmatic
things in recent weeks.
He said some tough things, like kill them all.
But over the years, he has been seen as a man of flexibility, somebody who sees all the angles. You know, that impression I got of him all those years ago back in Geneva.
He's an angel.
And he's seen as a man that, you know, that maybe you could do business with, but the issue is national crisis.
Oh, he's a moderate, and you know, he just thinks that whole thing that they have to wear their hijabs and can't show any hair. He just thinks that's, you know, that's just a suggestion. You know, they won't beat you in the street if you get caught. It's just crazy. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do one more. I'm not a fan of Caitlin Bennett, but every once in a while, she catches weirdos in the wild, and she's actually pretty good with pointed questions, even though she too, I don't know that she's the brightest bulb in the tree either, but she gets people to say stupid shit, and then she puts it on the internet. So we'll just watch one more before we go. There's the incomparable Caitlin Bennett.
Who do you have more in common with, a Trump supporter or a radical Islamist?
Radical Islamist.
You saw someone wearing one of those red hats chanting "Make America Great Again," or you saw someone shouting "Allahu Akbar" running down the breezeway here. Who would you feel more safe with?
The one shouting Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
You would support the radical Islamists.
Yeah.
What is it about Trump supporters that you don't think you'd get along with them so well?
I'm gay.
But you would get along with a radical Islamist?
Yes.
And you're gay?
Yes.
In solidarity with radical Islamists, would you look at the camera and say in solidarity, Allahu Akbar?
Allahu Akbar.
And would you say "Make America Great Again" in solidarity with the Trump supporters?
No.
What is a bigger threat to America today, radical Islam or Trump supporters?
Trump supporters.
I'll say Trump.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
Yeah.
I would say Trump supporters and MAGA.
I would have to go with the Trump supporters.
Trump supporters, and MAGA.
Trump supporters and MAGA.
I'd say MAGA.
But we should be able to allow people to be who they are.
Yeah.
Even
if they're radical Islamists.
Yes. Yeah. There's no right to judge them.
So if someone came running down the street, Allahu Akbar, or if there was someone on the opposite side saying, "Make America Great Again," got my red hat on, which side would you run to?
I don't know.
As Christians, and we're following Christ, do you think it's important to call out radical Islam?
No, because it's a freedom of religion.
Yeah, it's a freedom of religion. How many terrorist attacks did Trump supporters engage in last week?
So many.
Just guess.
Thousands.
If you're a radical Islamist watching this right now, we pray for your conversion.
It's whatever they want to do, then do it. 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 Whatever they want to do, then do it.
Well, I'm not a fan of Caitlin, but that was informative. I'm speechless. Probably because here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. they really have no idea what they're talking about when she brings that up. And so if you're in a bubble, if you live in Seattle or if you live in New York City or whatever, or, you know, somewhere where you're just in a bubble, you don't hear. Look, you get that eulogy of Soleimani, you know, an austere, you know, Muslim scholar, you know, not that he murdered, you know, he was the architect of murdering millions of people, or, you know, just the moderate, what was that? Lajani he was the moderate, described as a moderate. And you go, well, those MAGA people, they're radical right-wing nut jobs, but Lajani was a moderate. So what are you going to do? It's just sheer stupidity. Now, granted, you know that she only posts the ones that answer that way, but still, the fact that there are that many people who answered that way is insane. And that's all I got to say today. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to go, but here's the links to the ones we saw. Also, the aggregator has lots of articles that I just didn't get to. It's in the links. Oh, shoot, except it has the wrong. Hang on a second. So I'm going to scrap this one because I don't believe that hang on a second. Let's restore these. Where's the restore? Let's try this again. Oh, that's weird. What the hell happened there? Well, I'll tell you what. You can find it yourself. It's in there. Let's just leave that link, and you can just you got to look for JJ Septon, and it'll be fine. All right, that's it, guys. I got to go because I don't want to be late today. So thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Hump day. Week's almost over. After tomorrow. You have a great day. I got to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.